Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the RDA Central West Business Leaders Breakfast. Happy Friday to you, to those tuning in on the podcast or those tuning in on Facebook. Really excited. Sitting down next to me in the hot seat is the CEO of Central New South Wales Business HQ, Mr. Wayne Sunderland. Wayne, welcome back to breakfast.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
I'm up and about for this one. So Wayne, you were one of our first guests about 12 months ago on the Business Leaders Breakfast. A lot's changed in our region, a lot's changed around the world in those 12 months. But for those that aren't aware, can you tell us a little bit, I guess, about your journey to the Central West and then, I guess, the role of Biz HQ in our region?
Yeah. Well, really, my journey in the Central West, basically when I was a young child, I couldn't wait to leave. And you don't realise how good you have it. So I actually joined the Navy and we're in Sydney, and my then future wife and I we were looking at having a family and getting married, and we decided Sydney wasn't the place for us. So I gave her the opportunity to live wherever she wanted to in Australia. And we decided to come back to Orange because we both had family, and it's a beautiful, beautiful region. And sometimes you don't realise how good you have it until you leave.
What's the biggest change that you've noticed in Orange and the Central West between growing up here, going away, and then coming back, 10 years ago?
It's just got bigger and better. There's so much better infrastructure, a lot more sort of shops. There's a lot more variety, and really the big thing about Orange, coffee shop on every corner, and that's great. It's become really sort of that semi-cosmopolitan.
Yeah, absolutely. And a variety and diversity of business offerings and tourism offerings that are here, which I think we'll touch on a little bit later. But since we last spoke, I guess, Wayne, a lot's happened, and Biz HQ, like all businesses, have had to adapt. But what support services do Biz HQ provide for local business, and how has this changed in the last 12 months?
So we offer 3 programs. Our flagship is Business Connect. Now, initially we started off with 5 advisors. Now we've grown to 9. During COVID, the Minister announced there was extra funding available. So we've got specialist advisors, those who are experts in agri-tourism or straight tourism. We've also got a digital expert, and we've got a retail expert. So with that, with our generalist, they're fairly busy out there just helping businesses.
And what region do you guys cover?
So we cover 24 local government areas. So essentially we do from up at Lithgow and Oberon all the way out to Burke. So Central West and the Arana regions. So our guys are in the car a lot of the times, but also because of COVID and we've made some changes there. We're actually on Zoom a fair bit, so it's less travel for our advisors, and businesses now are more comfortable being on those platforms. Yeah,
you got some fantastic expertise here at Biz HQ, especially, I guess, with everything that's been happening, that digital literacy for businesses has been important now more than ever. What kind of tips and tricks have your advisors been giving to local businesses in recent times?
It's probably one of the most important things is how people are changing their shopping behaviour. So really it's having that online presence. In the past, we used to have catalogues all the time, and you used to go in and look at the catalogue and decide there, or you'd go into Harvey Norman and you'd be taken through the various options. Now consumers already know what they want, they know when they want it, and a lot of times they'll walk in and go, I want to buy that. So there's no discussion. So a lot of the times people are doing research, people are becoming smarter with what they do. So it's really getting that online presence, because if you're not online, a lot of the times you don't get found. Yeah. We all use our phone for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to chuck the link up to Biz HQ after this morning's chat. This will be the perfect link into the services that they provide and those expert advisors that we've been talking about this morning. One of the things that Biz HQ rolled out in our region last year was in partnership with Newcrest Mining's Cadia operation, and it was Business Beyond the Curve. Can you tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about that program and what it delivered for the region?
So Business Beyond the Curve was to help those businesses which really suffered from COVID. So those who had the close down or lost over 30% of their revenue. So we had tourism businesses, we had the poor gyms just find out that day that they were shut, and they had staff and they had sort of all these things to do, but the bills kept coming in. Also, we had the beauty salons and all those businesses which suddenly got shut down, or because people couldn't travel. All these tourism operators, we also had coffee shops suffer for that because a lot of them rely on the people passing through, and because of the restrictions, a lot of these businesses suffered. So a great sort of thing about Business Beyond the Curve, it really helped these businesses by small grants there. So there was 2 lots. There was a restart grant, which was up to $5,000, and there was the recovery grants, which was up to $10,000. But also they got business advice, and what they really looked at is what could we do better? How could we basically add to our business and possibly grow it there? So it was a great sort of time because people didn't know what to do. Sorry, it's not a great time, but people didn't know what to do, and it was a good time for them to sit down and go, what's the best way to go forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess not only was it the fantastic grants that were rolled out to local businesses, as you said, a lot of businesses doing it tough, feeling a bit overwhelmed, having that strategic advice on how to set their business up to get through this challenging period. And the lessons they've learnt probably through this program has held them in good stead now for 2021 and beyond. Now, I think over 120 grants were provided to local businesses all up.
Yeah, so there was 124 at the top of my head, with also further businesses which didn't qualify also receiving advice there. So no one missed out. Everyone that we could help got helped.
And the good thing about BizHQ, I think your services up to about 60 hours are fully subsidised by the government. Is that right?
At this stage, during COVID there, especially with businesses doing it tough there, especially further out, a lot of businesses, we've had drought, we've had COVID, it's been quite hard there. So a lot of the times, we're waiving some of the fees there just to help those businesses there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess if you can't get support in about 60 hours, you know, that's a pretty good resource there at our disposal for the region. Now, we've got some exciting news this morning for our people tuning in. Can you tell us, and I saw some media around this, about Business Beyond the Curve. I'm going to call it 2.0, but can you tell us a little bit about this and what it means for the region?
So essentially what we've got is Newcrest funding Beyond the Curve. So this is really aimed at the not-for-profits, the associations, the sporting associations, the P&Cs, because during this time, especially with COVID, they were still supporting groups. And there was no money coming in. So a lot of the times these small groups, they make their money from the sausage sizzle at Bunnings, having a trivia night and all these things, and suddenly they couldn't raise this money. However, there were still bills to be paid there. And also they're out there helping the community. So we had sort of groups delivering meals to the elderly who couldn't sort of travel. So it's all these things. So they missed out on Business Beyond the Curve because they didn't fit the criteria. So this is the chance. So we're very lucky that Newcrest has come up with this idea to go and help those the not-for-profits and charities that really need that help.
Yeah, so this is open, I think, till the end of the month, is that right?
Yes, so essentially what we've got is expressions of interest at the moment, and once we get the expressions of interest, we'll actually send out sort of some advisors and help, and we'll help them fill in the form, and then it'll actually go to committee.
Oh, perfect. So this is Fundraising Beyond the Curve. We'll put the link up for that one after this morning's chat as well. Awesome opportunity there for local community groups, not-for-profits in the region. Now, Wayne, can you tell us a little bit about the criteria or some of the things, I guess, interested community groups, because we engage with a lot of them here at RDA Central West, might need to think about for this great opportunity?
So the main sort of thing is they have to be an association, a not-for-profit, or a charity. Also, they need to demonstrate a 30% drop in their sort of fundraising income during the COVID sort of time there.
So that was kind of like March to June, March to September last year, righto?
The other sort of thing is when they have a visit with an advisor, what we'll be looking at is how can they move forward? What happens if we have another COVID out in the region? How can we help these businesses survive, not businesses, not-for-profits, survive and thrive?
And I guess having the access to that expertise from the advisors, again, will help give these organisations that framework to help them build a strong foundation going into the future, which is absolutely awesome. As I said, all these details on the chat after this morning. Make sure you check it out. Great opportunity for the region. Now, we're going to hit Wayne with the Fast Five, learn a little bit more about him. Didn't know he was in the Navy, but I thought that was a good scoop for this morning. But if you weren't the CEO of BizHQ, Wayne, what's an alternative career you think you would have gone down, path you would have gone down?
I'd probably be a lumberjack.
Good.
So, unfortunately, nothing as sexy as that. I probably would be an accountant. So, but probably on that sort of consulting side, because I really enjoy helping people, and that's the thing. It's great just walking down the main street, seeing businesses which you've helped.
Yeah, well, I guess especially beyond the curve, 120 businesses that have probably had grants and support through the advisor network here at BizHQ. Pretty good. 3 dream dinner guests.
Oh, probably Robin Williams, Rowan Atkinson, and Adam Hills. Three comedians. I reckon it'd be great to hear the conversation, watching them bounce off each other, and I think a lot of times people need to laugh, and that's one of the best medicines for.
That's a good bit of banter, I think, on display there. Now, does that mean your hidden talent is could have been a stand-up comic?
No, in fact, my kids absolutely hate me because I do too many dad jokes. So basically, that's not my hidden talent. Very, very bad soccer player, and during COVID, while we were working phenomenal hours, a little bit during the off time, I actually started learning to paint miniatures, so which was totally left field. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but I've become a little bit addicted.
Okay, a little bit of time out, bit of therapeutic for you. Last book you read or movie that you saw?
Ooh, I'm a science fiction nerd, so probably the last one that I saw was Battlestar Galactica. Okay. So the new one. So
Out of 10?
Sorry, out of 10. I reckon 9.
Oh, gee, biased? Yeah. Was it that good, or you're the target audience? I don't know.
I probably grew up with the old Battlestar Galactica, and if you watch,
I think it was on TV for about 10 years.
Yeah, and they had the same scene over and over, and I think the personalities of the new actors, and it was a bit more dirty and gritty. Okay. So I enjoyed that.
I think you liked it. Yeah, that's quite an endorsement. Hidden gem of the Central West. So this can be people, person, place. So if you've got visitors coming into our region, something you'd love to show them.
I reckon Mayfield Gardens. We just went up there recently. The hedge maze. We spent probably 40 minutes to an hour going through with the kids. I got lost. Until I worked out that there's little sort of tips how to get out there. The kids found that sort of straight away, but it was a race to the middle, and it was a great day. Great service from the people there. We also went to the restaurant, and it was a fun day. Everything was out, and it was great to sort of see the crowds come back. Yeah,
absolutely. We'll put the link up for Mayfield Gardens. Oberon has some fantastic, offerings up there, great community, and I think they've got their outdoor week coming up at the moment, so we might put the link up to Oberon's outdoor week festivities, because there's a number of different offerings that they're throwing up there. Give a good shout out to the team in Oberon. Now, BizHQ has a track record, as we've said, of focusing on those capacity building workshops. We partnered with you guys last week to deliver some regional tourism workshops in Condo and Cowra. What kind of feedback have you been getting from tourism operators across our region in recent times?
We're getting a lot of positive feedback. People are starting to come out. The best thing that ever happened for a lot of tourism businesses was the closure of the borders, because people wanted to travel. They wanted to get out of the big city regions, but they didn't know where to go. So now suddenly they're exploring all these other little regions and finding these hidden gems. So it's great. And also during that sort of time, a lot of tourism businesses learn to refine their offerings there, because a lot of the times you might have, possibly, I'll pick on Orange. Orange attracts a lot of the younger crowd for the wineries and the food. However, if you have kids and a family, you might want a different experience. So going out to one of the smaller regions, learning how to make damper, looking at the night sky, patting a cow. People haven't sort of experienced that, or seeing a kangaroo. I know in Central West we all hate the kangaroos there because they come across the cars, but for a small child who's been in the city, they haven't actually seen a kangaroo.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was probably one of the take-homes from last week. It's kind of knowing your target audience, defining the product that you're going to provide, and then making sure you've got a tight narrative, I guess, and a unique offering. And I think thinking about those things from a tourism perspective was some really key take-homes. Now, we've talked about the advisors. What kind of support can your tourism advisor here at BizHQ provide for local tourism operators out there that might be tuning in?
So really, it's that advice, it's getting that plan, finding your target audience. How do we get online? How do we find these people? What's the offerings that people are interested in? A lot of the times, people might have a motel, but it might not be listed anywhere. So we all use phones or computers. We do that research before we go. So unless we know that they exist there, if they don't have that presence, they don't exist. The other motel down the road will get that. So that's the sort of things. Also, it's going, well, what are the other marketing streams there? Also, it's working with the rest of the community, and that's a big sort of thing. We probably learned in that sort of workshop, there was a lot of businesses there talking, but they're not working together. And I think what really makes the regions really pop is when they're all working together, because when you go somewhere, it's not just to go and see the sites there or accommodation, it's to get coffee there, it's to get food. So it's all these things, so all businesses are in it together. Yeah,
that's a really good point, that every business is almost an advocate for your community when someone comes and visits your town. So it can just be giving friendly advice down the street, stopping in the coffee shop, they're not just in silos staying at the hotel, they want to experience the community. So that's a really good tip. I guess one of the things, we should give a big pump up to Caddy Marshall and Rebecca George there, because Caddy, superstar tourism operator and advocate for our region. So Caddy, keep up the good work. And I know forage tickets, I think, sold out rapidly yesterday. Food Week's just around the corner, so there's plenty happening in the region for sure. Now, what else is in the pipeline, Wayne, I guess, from that capacity building workshop perspective for BizHQ in the near future?
So we've got a number of workshops coming up. A lot of them, how to build basic websites there, how to get online, Google My Business, how to be found. So we're finding that people are interested in the technology, so we're doing the basics there. We'll be doing some advanced ones further on. Also, we'll be looking at some retail offerings there to sort of help the retail sector. A little bit the customer service, making sure that the margins are right for their products there. Also, how to get that second sale.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great workshops coming up thanks to BizHQ. But I'm not going to miss this chance to give the Communications Information Forum in Blaney next Thursday. That's the 11th. It's a communication information forum run by RDA Central West and the Central New South Wales JO. We'll put the link up for that one. Tickets are selling quickly, free event, lunch provided, but registration's essential. So if you're a local business out there that wants to learn more about your connectivity and communication offerings that are available there, the telcos will be there in force. Great opportunity to get together and get some great advice. So check those details out as well. Now, Wayne, before we finish up this morning, as I said, it's been a challenging 12 months for everyone. I feel like we're starting to kind of move in the right direction. But I guess as a regional business leader, what did you learn about yourself and I guess how you operate as a leader, manager during this time?
Yeah. I think the big thing is you've got to trust your gut with a lot of decisions there. You're not going to get the perfect decision all the time because there's too much variables in the information, and also trust your staff there. The gem for Business HQ is the staff. It's not me, it's the staff out there each day helping the businesses there. So that was the big sort of thing. And if they've got a concern, come talk to me. And that's the big sort of thing. Talk to your staff and they'll bring your business forward. They'll come up with the ideas. They'll push the business forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been a common thread through all these business breakfasts as people we've interviewed is the importance of good staff and workplace culture being a real driving force, backbone of a good business going forward. And Tamara James, good operator, spoke at the Backing Business Forum, and she really focused on, you were there, Wayne, the culture of your business and the importance of that. Now, prediction for the Central West over the next 12 to 18 months, where do you see us going?
I can see us just getting bigger and better. There's some great infrastructure projects happening all over the different local government areas there. With that sort of recent rain, everything's looking beautiful. I think while the borders remain sort of shut, we'll still see a lot more tourism, and also people are still scared to go overseas once the flights will start. So I think there'll still be a lot more of that, and as a result, people will see what a great sort of region it is, and we'll actually see this migration from Sydney and the capital cities to the regional areas, because they've been working at home for up to 12 months. Suddenly they can come out here, get a house for half the price, and really have a great lifestyle. Yeah, peak hour here in the Central West is about 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. We complain if the lights are red. Yep. So yeah, it's great.
No, you're absolutely right. I share your optimism, and it's something Dave Waddell said a couple of weeks ago on the Business Breakfast. He thought the tourism numbers might drop down 10% to a sustainable level, but it's all these people that have come to the Central West potentially for the first time in the last kind of 6-9 months. They're going to have repeat visitation. Good for the region, great for businesses. So I'm up and about. I think things are looking really positive for 2021.
Yep.
Now, Wayne, what's the easiest way for viewers, listeners, interested businesses to connect with you and your helpful staff here at BizHQ?
So they can ring us on 63620448. Or
say that number again.
That number again, 63620448. Or also go on our website, there's a contact us page, and we'll actually set you up with a business advisor.